Hello, guys, and welcome back to Chris Baraka and family. There is a video I want us to watch from the Master's Voice Prophecy that's always hosted by Celestial Prophetess, where she is calling out different ministers, calling out Jackie Hill Perry, calling out Bishop T.D. Jakes, calling out Tiphani Montgomery and others as well. So I just want us to get to have a look at these briefly. I have always been sharing her prophecies over time. There are some prophecies that we have seen come to light. There are some others we've not yet seen come to light. But also, I just want to share this one with you so that we can just have a look at it, So let's get into it.
Hello again, and welcome to the Master's Voice. You will never feel it much down from him for all the days of his life. He went from being a big tree with huge apples on it to a shriveled little bush. But when he passed away from this life, he was celebrated as one of the gods, because that's what America does. America never watches God to know how should the funeral go. How do you take this person? They sent him off like a Viking, even though he corrupted and hurt the faith of millions who to this day continue in his corruption and his lie, believing that God is soft on LGBTQ. God loves all of us, but to all who struggle with a stronghold, a sin, the bar, the standard is clear. With sin, you will perish and you will not be accepted by God. The bar is clear. Take up your cross, crucify yourself, and follow me. To all who admit that they have a stronghold and they take up their cross and they begin to follow Jesus, every step that you take, struggling step or not, missing the gay lifestyle or not, missing your lesbian girlfriend or not, stuck on the vape or not, with every struggling step that you take, the hold of the devil will get weaker, because the closer you get to Jesus, the weaker the hand of the devil against you. Corrupted doctrine corrupts you, whether it's an African pastor, an Australian pastor, an American pastor. And so God says that he's decided to retire ministries. Some are not ministries and they never were, like Jackie Hill Perry and Tiphani Montgomery. But the Lord also says he will even retire the ministries that were legitimately raised up by him, but they will now be tolerated no longer. And the example the Lord gave was Bishop T.D. Jakes. Yah says that T.D. Jakes will be tolerated not much longer by him. But also, and this was brought forth, there was a prophecy, maybe September, October 2024, where Joyce Meyer was mentioned, and I was speaking of a long hallway, and I said that I saw T.D. Jakes had almost reached the end of that hallway. It was a dark hallway with many doors facing into the hallway, and he was in that hallway in the dark, knocking strongly on doors. And what this man was doing was he was trying to gain admittance. He was looking for help. He was looking for support from his brothers in the ecclesia. For T.D. Jakes is a Freemason. T.D. Jakes is not only a Freemason, but he's a member of the fraternity known as the Illuminati. They perform rituals. They worship the devil openly. They have given themselves up to serve the Baphomet God. And so this man has been rejected by God, but God has allowed the cup of judgment against him to be filling. And then the Lord gave me that vision of T.D. Jakes. The hallway was here, and T.D. Jakes had come much down the hallway. So if you make the perspective with me staring down the hallway, he had started way over there, and then he had come all the way down the hallway in the dark, knocking on many doors, but no door opened to admit him. And God was showing me that T.D. Jakes is frozen out even from this brotherhood, because what the brotherhood does is, as long as you're operating in darkness, as long as you're operating secretly, you can rise to the highest ranks. But when you get burnt, when you get exposed, When people now know that your hands are dirty and, oh, there's questionable backgrounds, and I don't think a bishop should be involved with Diddy, and there's homosexual lawsuits against him. All these things were prophesied here on the Master's Voice Prophecy blog in September of 2022. Too much loud noise, too much rejection. But now everybody's so complacent and acts like, oh, we always knew, but you didn't always knew. The majority of people cursed and spat and fought and scratched and cursed my very life to protect this bishop, because the natural behavior of us in the Christian world is to always shield Satan and to curse God and God's messengers. And so it was only when proof began to flood out, and God is not yet done with exposing this man. He's not going to die with any secrets. When the proof began to mount, then people began to say, oh my, and then they started to believe. And that's what caused a lot of people to flock here to this ministry, because they saw that prophecy. So T.D. Jakes had come all the way down. He was almost at the end of the hallway, and God was showing that this man wanted help. He still wants help, but the brotherhood ain't having it. And the reason is simple. Once you've been burnt, once you've been brought out in the open and your dirty deeds exposed and people are now talking about you, you become a heavy liability to organizations that thrive on secrecy and being shrouded in basically unbelief. The Illuminati in America, a high-ranking society with all the big names that you know as part of it, those people revel in the fact that the average American doesn't believe in them at all. It's almost like people who don't believe in Satan and hell. Satan loves that because he will really get to give you a wedding surprise. Jesus is going to have a wedding supper. Satan's going to have a wedding surprise for a lot of people, because the first day that they're going to know that the devil is real and that hell is real is when they pop out in that place for the first time and realize that, wow, a loving God can put me here for continuing pursuing and fighting to maintain a life of sin. And so he had come to the very end of the hallway, and he wasn't getting any help because they had basically cut him off. The doors were not opening, and he was almost now close to my perspective, which is where the hallway ended. And God was showing me this man does not have a lot of time left. At the very beginning of the hallway, about to start her own journey, is the woman I will now speak of. I saw back then last year, Joyce Meyer. And so Yah says, T.D. Jakes will not be tolerated much longer by him. And also the next person you will see fighting for her life against accusation of being a shad and a sham and a fraudster in public is Joyce Meyer, Pastor Joyce Meyer. Yah says that Joyce Meyer is a scammer and a fraudster, and allegations will come against her for those things, including something involving tax benefits that are not paid or levied or properly declared by her. That is a fraudster, says the Lord, a conjurer of magic, a magic trick maker for entertaining the people of God. And no one can claim that when Joyce Meyer is on stage that she's not affable, which means extremely friendly, extremely approachable, extremely easy to understand. But she's also got a way about her that you would say she's quite the comedian. Comedian is the word for a female comedian in the trade. Joyce Meyer has always got the people of God feeling loosed and relaxed and laughing, constantly chuckling when she preaches. There's absolutely no conviction in that woman's preaching. You could have 22 baby daddies and sit in Joyce Meyer's church, and you will never feel the pinprick that there's something wrong with your life. You will never feel it because it is not in her. She's not interested in preparing people for heaven. She's interested in getting people to bond to her personally so she can siphon every penny that that they have on them for her books, her tapes, her ministry, and I guess her face jobs that she started having. And so God says that that's a scammer, that's a fraudster, and allegations are going to come against her, and she's going to find herself as beleaguered under allegations by T.D. Jakes. That's in the natural. I mean, allegations by the government for fraud and things like that. But in the spirit, God says that that's a conjurer of magic. This woman is working with some kind of seductive magic. That could be black magic or white magic, but it's definitely something that when the Lord gave me the vision against her in 2020, I think. The prophecy is called Cornucopia. It's either a 2019 three-part prophecy or a 2020 three-part prophecy. I saw that Joyce Meyer had a wand, excuse me please, and when she waved it over the people that she had come to preach to in a huge stadium, everybody fell asleep. Everybody in the stadium fell asleep. And then she took out a vacuum cleaner, and it didn't have the head on it, that vacuums. It was just a hose. And she put the hose on, and she was putting it over the people, and every penny that was in their pockets, mostly dollar bills, I didn't see coins, every dollar that the people had began to suck into that huge vacuum cleaner. Suck into the vacuum cleaner that Joyce Meyer was spraying over the people. And then when she had finished taking every single piece of money in that auditorium, she touched something on the vacuum cleaner and reversed the hose. And then what came trickling out was just a few drops of grayish looking dirty dishwater. And God was saying, look at that. That's all that comes out of her back to the people. That's all she's giving them. Just a few drops of that dirty water that comes out of her that can never be mistaken for a Christian preaching. So you're listening to this and you're a Joyce Meyer fan and you're so upset that you want to fight. And guess what? I don't care. I don't work for you. My mouth does not have a lock or a combination code. God told me, open your mouth wide and I will fill it. And for the rest of my life, every prophetic word that he gives me, it will be spoken in the hearing of all the people, whether you agree or whether you say nay. It is absolutely inconsequential what you feel as a T.D. Jakes follower, Jackie Hill Perry follower, Tiphani Montgomery follower, because I've always said here that they are no group graves. When God gets a hold of the people that he has judged and he is ready to put them into silence, into shadow, and in some cases into the grave, there will be no group grave for you, the groupie, the fan, the stand, the protector, the one who wants to fight. You cannot jump into that grave with them. I told one of them who came here recently that there is nothing in you to pluck a soul out of hell and put them in heaven if God says no. There's nothing in you. So you need to close your mouth when people are getting their prophetic words here. You can't save them. What you can do is rush their judgments because you gather around them like lymphocytes. You sympathize with their sin. You tell them that they are not sinful and that they have done nothing. And it sounds personal to you. Like, who asked you and who made you the gauge of the Lord prophetic word? You that cannot distinguish between Haggai and Habakkuk. Who asked you to be the one that vets another person's prophetic word that very often when it comes from this ministry, their navel string, that is their right to remain in this world. They came out in life and by that navel string they have been living that cut them off from their mom.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear what you think about this prophecy, but Celestial has just said it with all boldness. Yeah, let me know what you think about this. Maybe on another video, we'll get to break down some of these prophecies that she has spoken about, just to get for us to see the lawsuits that have come up that have tied Bishop T.D. Jakes. And we'll just get to have a look at all that as well. So I'd like to hear what you think about this right there in the comment section. Go ahead, subscribe if you haven't, and give the video a like.